Hey, today guys, we have a Colnago V3R in a size 52S, which translates to a standard size 55 and weighing in at 7.34 kilograms, and in pounds, that is 16 pounds, 5 ounces, and that's with a spider-based power meter. And stay tuned as we will do a free hub sound test on these Enve Foundation 65 wheels with the in-house ratchet. Yeah, I know I sound like GC Performance. Kiss my butt. Yo, welcome back to the channel, boys and girls. Today we are at Dragonspine Cycling here on the northwest side of Chicago. Now, Dragonspine Cycling is a brand new bike shop, and while they do focus on high-end and specialized bikes and frames, they don't turn down any customers. So if you are a commuter with a commuter bike and you need some sort of a routine service or maintenance, they will be happy to help you out and get your bike ready to go for the upcoming season of spring and summer. Now, besides the fact that your boy Patty is dressed like someone who's about to take your grandma out to Applebee's this evening, we are here taking a look at this gorgeous looking Colnago V3Rs. We're going to be going over the specs, some of the details, talk about the wheels. We'll even get this bike weighed out. We'll do a free hub sound test on these lovely Enve Foundation 65 wheels. Unfortunately, I will not be able to take this bike out for a test ride because this bike is for sale, and so we want to make sure this bike looks pristine. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so as I mentioned in the introduction of this video, guys, we are taking a look at this Colnago V3Rs. Now, this is a flagship frame set from Colnago. Recently, they did just come out with the V4RS frame set, but nonetheless, this is their flagship model. And the reason why I was interested in doing a product spotlight on this bike is because, especially on my channel, if you have been following me for some time, I have built up a lot of bikes. Most of them have been more on the budget side, something like a Windspace or a Yolio, although I have most recently built up a Giant Propel advanced frame set. So it's nice to have a close-up on a top tier frame set and brand, especially here in Chicago, where you will see a lot of riders riding tarmac SO7s and SO8s. It's nice to see in hand what it looks like when you are holding a super duper high quality frame set and bike in hand. Now, moving on to the group set, we have an 11-speed Shimano Ultegra Di2 group set. As you guys know, I really thoroughly enjoy electronic group sets these days. They're very reliable, they're very easy to set up, and they always offer up consistent shifting, as you can imagine. So obviously for a frame like this, you could also go Dura-Ace, but Ultegra also is a fantastic value proposition, given that this is an extremely lovely looking and flagship frame set. Another thing I want to briefly talk about, and this just really highlights the care and detail for a frame set of this tier, is should you decide to purchase this frame set or a bike as a whole, what Colnago has done with the bottom bracket area is basically they offer up included a set of threaded cups that you basically thread into the bottom bracket area, and then once those cups are threaded into the bottom bracket area, you can then press fit in your bottom bracket of choice. So for this particular build, it does come with a ceramic speed bottom bracket, which, you know, for most people, you would argue that that is the creme de la creme of bottom brackets. But yeah, you do get a fantastic bottom bracket with this Colnago bike. And keeping the theme here with the group set and the crank set as well. So the chain rings is a 5339. If you live here in Chicago, where it's pancake flat most of the areas, you definitely want to have the gears to put down the power on the flats. Now, this bike also does include a Quark D4 spider-based power meter. I actually run this identical power meter on a couple of my bikes at home. It's very reliable. It's lightweight for what it is. It includes these Quark / SRAM carbon crank arms as well. These are 172.5. So you can imagine for a bike / frame of this caliber, it would be expected that a power meter will be included. And then out back, we have an 11 to 28 Ultegra cassette. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about these wheels. So as you can see, these are Enve. This is sort of the more budget conscious set of wheels, if that's that thing actually exists. But these are their Enve Foundation 65 wheels. So you have a 65 millimeter depth in both the rear and the front. Internal width on these is 21 millimeters. External is 28 millimeters, and then it still is using Enve's standard hubs. So what's nice about these wheels is they are a little bit more affordable than Enve's top of the line SCS wheels. These are still hookless as well, but it's cool is because they've got rid of all of the faff, which jacks up the price of those SCS wheels. And so you are just getting all of the core essential things that you would need, especially for a wheel like these. Obviously, they're very deep paws. So they're gonna be very, very aero. They are hookless. And another thing too is with these tires, these are Enve's, they're SCS tires. They designed a tire that is optimized for Enve's own set of wheels. So I believe these tires are 25 millimeters width, or 25 C tires, I should say. And then, they're going to be optimized for these wheels, which is a really nice touch by Enve. Okay, now next up, let's talk about this saddle. So this is a Physique. I believe this is their Argo saddle. Bro, look how aggressive this saddle is. Of course, as you can see, it is a short nose saddle. It has the carbon rails, 7.9 rails. But yeah, if you're going to be really putting down the power and you really want to get aero on the front of your bike, this is definitely a saddle to check out. In fact, I kind of want to test one of these saddles out myself because it looks aggressive, but it also looks like it would be very, very comfortable, especially when you are in an aggressive bike position. Now, one thing I do want to mention is, I hope this comes out in camera, but on the top tube, there is a signature here from Mr. Colnago himself. As far as what I understand is the latest generation, the V3Rs does not come with this signature on top of the top tube. So if that is an important detail for you, if you are a collector of frames, keep that in mind that this is the last generation you see here. This is the last generation that has a signature. And I think it's a really nice touch. Especially considering some of the other gaudy emblems and decals that I've seen on some other modern bikes. I think this is a very subtle nod to the founder of Colnago. And if that is incorrect, please let me know in the comments down below. Free hub sound test on these Enve 65 foundation wheels with the in-house Enve hub. Whoops, wrong way. Womp womp. Now moving to the cockpit, we have now this stem is from Colnago, and it does come with the frame set, and it does allow for you to be able to route the cables internally, which is a nice touch. It keeps everything really nice and clean. And then the handlebars are from Enve. I really like the look of these handlebars. I wish I could get a set myself, but what's cool about these is they are flared. So you have 40 centimeters on the hoods, and then they flare out to, I believe, 42 centimeters in the drops. So yeah, you can be, aero on the hoods and then be able to, sprint down in the drops and have a little bit of extra wiggle room, given that these bars do flare out. Now, one thing I did forget to mention early on in this video is the size of this frame set. So according to Colnago's website, this is labeled as a 52S as far as the frame size goes. However, that is their own sort of sizing protocol. But what that translates to in the real world is this is about a size 55 frame set. So for myself, if maybe we had a little bit of a longer stem, I probably actually could fit this frame set. But nonetheless, yeah, that's how their sizing works. So keep that in mind if you are looking to purchase this bike, or if you were to purchase a Colnago frame set in general, that you have to use a conversion chart to make sure that you don't get the wrong size VR4 V3Rs frame set. Now, in person, this bike is subtle when it needs to be, and then striking when you want that strikingness appeal as well. So you have, of course, the matte black carbon up top and in some of the other areas in the dial tube, and then you have this really cool looking sort of a reddish orange that sort of transitions into orange as well. But just everything on this bike, just the fit and finish, is everything you would expect for a bike in the higher tier price range. It's definitely nicer than all the some of the affordable bikes that I have tested in the past. But nonetheless, this is a very striking bike. The fit and finish and all the details look really, really good. Something that you would expect from someone like a Tadej Pogacar if he's winning the Tour de France. Yeah, this bike looks absolutely gorgeous in hand. Come check it out. So that is going to wrap up today's video, guys. In retrospect, I realized that this video probably kind of comes off as an advert for selling this bike. But to be completely honest with you, I really just wanted to check this bike out in person. Like I said before, given the type of bikes and frames that I build and my price range, which is typically more on the budget or super value side of things, it's a breath of fresh air to see a top-end bike, to kind of be able to inspect, get some perspective on what you get for spending this kind of money on a frame set. But as always, questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below, and I'm gonna check you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.